Afghan Taliban forces launched attacks on several locations in neighboring Pakistan. The strikes came days after Pakistani aircraft conducted aerial bombardments within Afghan territory. Afghanistan's statements did not explicitly name Pakistan, but referred to operations carried out beyond the Durand Line. The relationship between Afghanistan and Pakistan has long been fraught with tension, driven by a combination of historical grievances, territorial disputes, and evolving security challenges. The recent clashes between the two neighbors have thrust their fragile relationship into the international spotlight, raising concerns about regional stability and the potential for further escalation. At the heart of the Afghanistan-Pakistan conflict lies the Durand Line, a 2,640-kilometer border established in 1893 under an agreement between Sir Mortimer Durand, a British colonial administrator, and Amir Abdur Rahman Khan of Afghanistan. While Pakistan inherited this demarcation upon gaining independence in 1947, successive Afghan governments have refused to recognize it as a legitimate international boundary. Afghanistan's claim that the border unfairly divides the Pashtun ethnic group has fueled decades of animosity. The border dispute has profound implications for both countries. For Pakistan, the Durand Line is a critical boundary that delineates its territorial integrity. However, for Afghanistan, the line is a symbol of colonial imposition and a source of national grievance. This unresolved issue has led to periodic skirmishes and strained diplomatic ties, creating an environment ripe for conflict. The emergence of militant groups, particularly the Tehrik-e-Taliban Pakistan (TTP), has further complicated the Afghanistan-Pakistan relationship. The TTP, a Pakistan-based militant organization, has been responsible for numerous attacks on Pakistani security forces and civilians. Following Pakistan's military operations against the group, many TTP fighters found sanctuary across the border in Afghanistan. The Afghan Taliban, which regained control of Afghanistan in August 2021, has been accused of harboring TTP militants. While the Taliban have consistently denied direct support for the TTP, they have referred to its members as guests under Afghan traditions. This ambiguous stance has exacerbated Pakistan's security concerns as cross-border attacks by the TTP have surged in recent years. During the Cold War, the relationship between Pakistan and Afghanistan was marked by mutual distrust and periodic conflict, largely fueled by geopolitical rivalries and divergent alignments. Afghanistan was the only country to oppose Pakistan's admission to the United Nations in 1947. Kabul also supported Pashtun and Baloch nationalist movements, advocating for the creation of Pashtunistan, an independent state for Pashtun tribes straddling both countries. This stance deepened tensions, as Pakistan viewed it as a direct challenge to its territorial integrity. Therefore, the Bajaur campaign, fought in 1960, was a significant military operation in Pakistan's federally administered tribal areas aimed at asserting state authority in the restive Bajaur region. This campaign was primarily a response to incursions and attacks by Afghan-supported insurgents seeking to promote the idea of Pashtunistan, a proposed independent state for Pashtuns. Afghanistan, under King Zahir Shah, supported tribal uprisings and cross-border raids, leveraging long-standing tribal discontent and the disputed Durand Line to challenge Pakistan's sovereignty in the area. The campaign represented a broader struggle between the two nations, with Afghanistan seeking to undermine Pakistan's territorial integrity. These tensions were exacerbated by Cold War dynamics, with Pakistan aligning itself closely with the United States and becoming a member of alliances, while Afghanistan maintained a more neutral stance leaning toward the Soviet Union for economic and military support. The rivalry intensified after Pakistan began supporting Islamist groups in Afghanistan during the 1970s, partly in response to Kabul's backing of separatist movements in Pakistan. This laid the groundwork for further conflict, particularly after the Soviet invasion of Afghanistan in 1979, when Pakistan became a key ally of the US, hosting millions of Afghan refugees and supporting the Mujahideen insurgency against Soviet forces. The latest round of hostilities began in December 2024, following a deadly attack by the TTP on a Pakistani military outpost in South Waziristan. The attack, which claimed the lives of at least 16 soldiers, prompted Pakistan to launch retaliatory airstrikes in Afghanistan's Paktika province. These strikes targeted alleged TTP hideouts, but reportedly resulted in significant civilian casualties, with Afghan authorities reporting 46 deaths. In response, the Afghan Taliban deployed thousands of troops to the border and launched artillery strikes against Pakistani positions. Both sides suffered casualties in these clashes, marking one of the most intense confrontations in recent years. The Afghan government framed its actions as a defense of its sovereignty, accusing Pakistan of violating Afghan territory through its airstrikes. The ambiguous status of the Durand Line has played a significant role in the recent escalation. Afghanistan's refusal to recognize the line as an official border has led to frequent disputes over its demarcation. The Afghan Defense Ministry's reference to operations beyond the hypothetical line underscores its non-recognition of the border and adds another layer of complexity to the conflict. Pakistan's officials said that the Durand Line serves as a vital security barrier against cross-border militancy. The country has invested heavily in fortifying the border, constructing fences, and increasing military patrols. However, these measures have been met with resistance from the Afghan side, further straining relations. Domestic political dynamics in both countries have also influenced the conflict. In Pakistan, the civilian government and military establishment have faced mounting pressure to address the threat posed by the TTP. The recent escalation has provided an opportunity for Pakistani leaders to demonstrate their resolve in combating militancy. However, it has also exposed the limitations of Pakistan's approach, as cross-border operations risk inflaming tensions with Afghanistan. In Afghanistan, the Taliban's approach to governance and regional relations has been shaped by its desire to consolidate power and maintain legitimacy. By standing up to Pakistani airstrikes, the Taliban aims to project strength and rally domestic support. However, its ambiguous stance on the TTP has raised questions about its commitment to regional stability. The Afghanistan-Pakistan conflict has significant implications for regional and international security. Both countries play a pivotal role in South Asia's stability, and their hostilities risk destabilizing the broader region. The conflict also complicates the efforts of international actors, such as the United States and China, to promote peace and development in the region. The United States, which withdrew its troops from Afghanistan in 2021, has limited leverage over the Taliban but remains concerned about the resurgence of militant groups in the region. China, which shares a border with Afghanistan through its Xinjiang province, has sought to strengthen economic ties with both countries through its Belt and Road Initiative. However, escalating violence threatens to derail these efforts and undermine regional cooperation. The escalating conflict between Afghanistan and Pakistan highlights the complex interplay of historical grievances, security challenges, and domestic politics. While the immediate triggers of the recent hostilities are rooted in cross-border militancy and retaliatory actions, the underlying issues, such as the Durand Line dispute and the presence of militant sanctuaries, remain unresolved. As tensions continue to rise, the need for dialogue and cooperation has never been more urgent. Only through sustained efforts to address the root causes of the conflict can Afghanistan and Pakistan hope to achieve lasting peace and stability.